that good? Yeah, perfect. Good morning, everybody, to the Frequency Soul Collective Zoom on a Saturday morning. Oh my gosh, Kerry's got yay, Kerry's got all
Fireworks.
the flashes. Look at her going over there. She's got, how do you do that, Kerry? Can everybody see Kerry? She's got fireworks behind her. Lovely to see you on a Saturday morning. It's 7 a.m. over here in WA. So if I've got my camera on, I think you should too. 7 a.m. is a beautiful day in WA, and it's a great weekend to start with questions and answers. So Joe has very kindly hopped on today to assist me with anything, but it's I like to call it like a catch-up coffee, really, because a question and answers, we're not presenting anything. There's people who have just joined, and there's people who have been around SoulX for probably 2.5 years now. So we never know everything, everyone. So nothing is off the table. There's things that I even learned last week from someone who was chatting to me. I'm like, oh my gosh, how did I not know that? So we're evolving all the time. There's things that crop up that might seem like they're odd questions and a bit dumb, but they're not, trust me. And I don't know everything. I don't know everything about SoulX. So if there is something that you ask and, I don't know, there'll be maybe somebody on here that can answer, or we can find out for you. But I'd first like to ask, has everybody scanned this morning? Oh, there's a no from Mashenka. Kerry Billstein, no. See, Patrice hasn't. Kerry's been fancy this morning. She's got balloons going up now. Oh my gosh. Who else? What about you, Sue? Have you scanned this morning? No. You see, I'm saying that as if like I'm the best scanner in the world. And, I'm actually, since I came back from the Gold Coast, I've made it a priority, because if we don't set our day right, then things can go wobbly. And I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I get up in a rush and I'm not a very organized person, and suddenly my day's gone. And I'm like, how did that happen, that I got all the way through my day and I didn't do my scan? And I'm wondering why I'm wobbling around and, being a bit erratic. And since I've come back and made a little bit of a routine in my life, I make sure that I try and get to bed at a decent time. That's my problem. I go to bed very late. I actually get caught up doing a lot of SoulX, in the terms of I go down the rabbit holes and I listen to lots of things, and sometimes I'm just reading, sometimes I'm watching TV, but it's 1 o'clock, right? And nobody wants to get up at 6 o'clock and jump out of bed and do their scanning, because it's I've got children and it's busy. So I decided that I needed to go to bed earlier, and I needed to get up and make sure I do my scan. And this morning when I read it before I hopped on here, I might show you later if we want to hop on, but there's hardly any double reds on my EZ scan. So, the more we scan, everybody, it's just, don't even have to look, really. You just have to scan and optimize, as they said, and then you're going to show up a lot better. And I'm also this week involved in one of the WA Cephi groups. So some of you might have learned at the Day of Discovery, there was a lot of talk about the Cephi groups, and a couple of, actually 3 of our QLAs over here have already started to smack them out. And one of them is a moon circle. And so I decided, because I just thought it would be great to support my QLAs, but also to experience what that's like to be in a Cephi group. And I love it. So maybe the balancing out is that I'm getting someone balancing me out for the moon for 2 hours every evening. We get a playlist that we can see that's being sent, and it's a different playlist, everyone. It's not just a playlist that they run the same playlist now every single day. I had one on lymph nodes one day. The one that started the last couple of days, obviously for the moon, is the parasite playlist. And, there's little information in there about things. I'm like, oh, I'm reading things, and it's reminding me to drink water and, things like this. So, I think there's always reminders along the day when we do different things that we can stay better in balance. But, from one person who didn't scan, as regularly as I should, to another, try and make it a priority. Just get up 5 minutes earlier. Seriously, just make sure, put it on your list, go and brush your teeth, wake yourself up, have a quick lemon drink and scan yourself. Yeah, I saw Paige, you scan yourself every day, don't you? So, you know, it's all good. So that's just my tip KJ 101 today. Make sure you scan yourself, people, and send yourself a few frequencies. Now, any questions? So if you don't want to talk, yeah, pop it in, and my beautiful assistant over there in the Sacred Souls Holistic Healing Center will help me out. But yeah, if you just want to put your hand up, unmute yourself, and let's get cracking, because I really want to add value to here and answer any questions that people have got.
Marielle's got her hand up. Marielle, do you want to go first, honey?
Yes, please. I just wanted to ask what everybody else does with the Cepheid dots. So I know I can't remember off the top of my head whether it's 4 or 5 at a time that it recommends when you run the Cepheid scan. Does anyone do all the dots, or just one of the dots, or some of the dots, or how's everybody working that?
Do you want this, KJ?
Yeah, well, I'll just start with the Cepheid dots. So what I have learned or have done along the way, when we first got the Cepheid dots, it was a bit confusing, wasn't it, Joe? There was like, some people were saying you can only put one frequency in the dot. Others were saying you can put lots of frequency in the dots. Yeah. And then there was all this sort of confusion, but it got cleared up quite quickly. And, you know, the way that I run the Cepheid dots, I do use the Cepheid dot, you know, at the bottom. So the one with the 12 that suggestions, like the perfect body and the energetic clearing. I will go and scan myself for that one. Is that the list you're talking about, Mariella?
Yeah, that one. So when you scan, say if it's perfect body that comes up, it recommends like 4 or 5 different placements. So I'm wondering, does everybody do all of them, or just one of them, or put one? Okay.
No, you just choose one of them. You only have to choose one of them, and you know, they're the sort of, obviously, the meridian lines that they're
here.
Yeah, and then there's, if you don't like some of them, obviously they come up and you might want it on all day, and they're somewhere on your head, or you don't want to walk around like, you know, with these dots, you know, necessarily showing. And so I always go for the one, you know, on the one on the wrist here, which is the one that it suggests if you know, you just want to go with anyone. That's like the most powerful one, and there's a picture of it actually, you know, in the little packages we've got. But you know, sometimes I just like, I don't know, I just intuitively feel where it needs to go. And also I find some of the frequencies, like one of them, which is the perfect body one, the one, you know, the one in the middle here under your belly button, that one works really well for me.
Yeah, so, I put mine on my tummy too.
Yeah, I think some people, you just got to feel into it. Where does it work the best, and where does it stay on as well? So I have some people, I put them on and their hands and that are too greasy, and so they actually come off and they struggle. So I actually end up putting them down on the meridian line on the legs, you know, or sometimes up here. So yeah, don't stress too much would be my opinion. Does anybody else want to comment what they do?
Yeah, so I use the perfect body one I put on my tummy. So if I'm doing like weight loss frequencies or whatever, they always go on my tummy. I sometimes put mine on my wrist here. I put them there in between my thumb and my first finger. Yeah, great talking point. People always ask what they are. If they can see them, people will always ask what they are. And I think one of your other questions, Marielle, was how many frequencies to put in them. So what I do is I will scan the Cepheid dot section first and see what it recommends for me. And then if I'm not doing anything in particular for myself, I might pick another 2 or 3 out of that section. But if there's something that I'm also wanting to sort of like a pain or something like that I'm wanting to work on myself, I'll then go back into the other playlists and imprint what I need from the other playlists.
On top of what is that? Sorry, Joe, is that on top of what you've already printed from?
Yeah, on top of what the Cepheid dot section tells me. So I put up to 10 in mine. But Lauren does say less is more. So since speaking to Lauren, I've only been trying to keep it around the 5 or 6 mark.
Yeah. Amazing. Thank you, ladies.
That's all right.
I think the less is more is I've gotten a lot less than I used to do, because you don't really sometimes know which one's working, right? So sometimes I just go with one, and it might not even be in the Cepheid list group. It'll be, you know, something that comes up, you know, just in the abundance list, I just go, okay, I'm just going to put that one in and put it on. And then the next day I might just, raise it. So don't forget, everyone, you can just pop your, dot onto your device, erase the frequency out of it, and then pop a new frequency in. So
Oh
that's,
my goodness, that's
And you can
genius.
wear it for longer than 72. You can do that
Yeah.
and wear it for longer than 72 hours as long as it's not being damaged. So a lot
Yeah.
of people, I've been taking a photograph of the Cepheid because I had one on my foot. So I took a photograph of it and sent frequencies to it that way and left it on. But I don't do that with clients for the sheer fact that you don't know whether the Cepheid has been damaged in any way. So I always tell clients to actually take the Cepheid off after 72 hours. I know that other people don't, but you just don't know whether that foil's been damaged underneath. So yeah, with clients, they definitely take it off after 72 hours. But for myself, I erase it. So what that also means is if you're having problems sleeping, you can leave that Cepheid on that you've had on during the day. You can erase it before you go to bed, and you can put a sleep Cepheid in it, and then the following morning erase the sleep one out and put your other ones back in. So because some people go, how do I run a sleep program when I've got a energetic program on my hand? It's gonna conflict. So that's how you would get around that.
yeah.
Amazing.
Okay, Kerry said I thought 72 was the max confirmed from Solex. It was, but Lauren has also said as long as it's the integrity of the Cepheid is intact, it is fine to redo. So I leave a month's supply with my parents. I tell them to take them off after 72 hours, but I also tell them to keep them. So if I get up there and I look at them and I can see the integrity of them and they look all right, I will re-imprint them for my parents. But definitely with clients, I would not do that because we don't know what they've done with that Cepheid while they've been wearing it for 72 hours. So
Yeah, and also, Joe, I've noticed that sometimes the water can get in them, and so I had somebody that had it on a week, and when they pulled it off, it was actually green underneath.
yeah.
So we don't want that. Like, obviously,
No.
that's bacteria sitting under there. I mean, I honestly don't keep mine on. I'm quite strict. I just pull it off and move on and get a new one, because I don't want any of that going on. But yeah, look, if you really want to be,
I'll just take it off and check it.
Yeah, take it off, check it, stick it back on. Yeah, exactly.
If it looks damaged, because they go a little bit sort of, the foil changes around the edges of it, you'll know. You'll know it, and you'll know whether the integrity is still there.
Yeah. Somebody was in my group was talking recently.
Yeah, Paige says they will only hold the frequency for 72 hours.
Wow, so you have to re-add the frequency. Yeah, somebody was saying that they didn't have Cepheid dots and they imprinted their sunglasses, because if you think about sunglasses, they're generally silicone, like a silicone. And as soon as she had a headache, she put the imprint of headache into her sunglasses, and she actually had her sunglasses on her head like that. And so her headache went away straight away. And I'm like, what a great idea. I never thought about imprinting sunglasses.
And Lauren messaged, we all wear gold rings. Most of us have got wedding rings or engagement rings or whatever. Gold is one of the metals that will hold frequency the most.
And so diamonds.
Use your jewelry.
Yeah, I didn't know diamonds held it. I mean, I was always doing my crystals, and I'm like, oh, diamonds hold it better than crystals. I didn't know that. Yes, Mishenka, you've got a question?
Yes, I haven't used the Cepheid dots at all. I did just order and it has arrived.
Beautiful.
I also ordered the pack of patches or whatever these are. Do they go over the Cepheid, or how do I even use them?
Yeah, you've got some in the box as well. So they're spares. And it's always good to have a box of spares because sometimes they do peel off. That's why they have them for sale. But yeah, they go over the top of the dot because it's like a waterproof.
Yeah.
And so that you can shower in them. And just a little tip, I've actually got mine here. When you're they're a bit tricky, but the trick is in the middle of it, there's like some that you can peel off. But the best thing is fold it before you pop it, even try and put it on, because when you pop it on, then they're sitting up, the little flaps are sitting up, and then they're much easier to get off.
Okay.
Particularly if you give a spare one to someone, that you put a dot on them, and then they go, oh, I don't know, I couldn't even work out how to put that on. It's a bit tricky, but as soon as you fold it in the middle there, you pull the back off, and then you have a little flip there, and then you pull that little one off at the end. And these are just spares, and they keep it all nice and waterproof.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you. Also, how long do you wear the 660 for? I won it at the
Yeah. Oh, you
yeah.
did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, it's anywhere up to 40 minutes a day.
Okay, wonderful.
And so, you know, I just usually pop mine on after I've taken my supplements that my scanners told me in the morning, because it's going to help reactivate them even more, which is a super great thing. And, you know, you can put them on, there's different wrists will do different things. There's a little diagram. One will do the kidneys and one's the liver side, both of the lungs. So just swap them around.
Good idea.
Around. And, you know, you can put them on again in the evening if you want to. You know, you can't overdo it, but 40 minutes it'll switch itself off after 40 minutes anyway.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I
With
appreciate
a
it.
minimum of 7.
7, yeah.
I was just going to say I have overdone it.
Thanks. I didn't know that, Joe. 7.
I've worn it for way too long. I've just kept pressing the on button, and what I noticed was my heart was racing.
Wow.
Oh no.
Yeah, you don't want that.
No.
Less is
You
more,
think you're
Marielle.
But you're vasodilating, aren't you? So that's what it is. It's like opening up. So it's no surprise that you're going to get a bit of a racing heart if you keep it vasodilated for too long. Okay. So yeah, gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And the other tip for these guys, which I had to talk with Kai over in Queensland. We've had a little bit of a problem along the journey with them breaking and having to send them back. And there's the little button that's on the side. When you first switch it on, it doesn't instantly come on. I don't know if anybody's noticed that. Now, as somebody like me who I like instant, when it doesn't come on, I think the people that have been breaking them start pushing it a bit hard. And so you actually have to wait it's only a nanosecond. And then what it is, Kai said, is the button then presses a little circuit that goes up and opens up the red thing, switches it on. So just be very gentle is what I'm saying, is when you press it. Just press it, wait, and don't go ramming it. And that's what's breaking this little button. The button stops, it pushes it out of the wrong space, and then we're not going to be able to get them to work. So we need to probably put that in the groups, Joe, actually. And then, and then we won't get the problems with the band. Yeah, they did actually get a new batch, after that came, there's quite a few going back. It has definitely slowed down, but there are still some happening. And I think it's the people that are a little bit heavy.
Also, the ones that say it's too hot.
Yeah.
Have it very, very tight on their wrist. You do not need it tight.
No.
So just wear it looser so it's comfortable for you. So some people were going, oh, it's too hot, it's burning my wrist, blah, blah, blah. Well, of course it's going to burn your wrist if you've got it tight to your skin tight. And you're wearing it like a watch. So it can be worn quite loosely because you don't need it tight on your wrist. So that will help with the heat coming from it as well. Yeah. There's a question here for you, KJ, that says, from Maria, what's the difference between using the AO scanner and physically doing muscle testing?
Well, the AO scan, look, not everybody knows how to muscle test, and muscle testing is not my jam anyway, so somebody else might be able to speak about that. I guess the AO scanner is just it's more it's tangible, so you can see it and it's doing straight away. Does anybody want to comment on that? Maybe a kinesiologist?
Paige has jumped off, but
Paige,
I think for me, look, I've done slight muscle testing before. I think for me with the AO scan, you can, like KJ said, you can physically see what's going on. So I do Reiki, which is energy healing, but I can see at the touch of a button with the AO scan what's out with the chakras and the meridians. So I don't have to physically work on that body. So I think they're completely different tools, to be honest.
Yeah, I would have thought so. Yeah.
Can I try answer?
Yeah.
I'm a kinesiologist, but
awesome.
I've got more experience with kinesiology than I do with the Solix, so that's kind of where the gap might be.
Yeah.
But I mean, from what I understand is that the database of the Solix has how many different options?
Oh, hundreds.
No, it
Thousands.
was actually thousands.
Yeah.
Thousands.
There
Thousands.
Yeah.
was a screenshot.
147,000 frequencies at one point, but that was when we first joined KJ.
I think it's over 200,000 now.
I
Yeah.
can't. I know there was a screenshot somewhere comparing different frequency devices, and I was very impressed with how much the Solix had. I remember something like 1.7 thousand, but I can't quite recall. But basically, from what I know with kinesiology, you're testing one item at a time.
Okay.
Whilst this scans the
That makes
whole body
sense.
comprehensively within moments.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
that makes
You know?
sense.
So
Yeah.
it's like if just for example, if you were to look at the parasite lists, you could muscle test each and every single one of them, and then you'd have to ask other kind of questions around,
Yeah.
but this scans it all within moments.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's as a kinesiologist, I'm still learning how to use the Solix, but scanning a person first and then using the information from the scan and then optimizing, of course, just to make it a lot easier, but then using the information from the scan to work with somebody and look at their diet and their detoxification pathways, etc.
Yeah, I think there's actually training in a couple of weeks on the Saturday morning of how to muscle test for those of us who don't. So, quite often you'll hear some of the QLAs saying, oh, well, I muscle tested and I know how many to put in the Cephi list, things like that. And we all kind of go blankly, oh, I wish we could do that because it's another skill. And it's great because they're coming on to give us a quick, just education on that. So, I'm looking forward to that session.
Yeah,
Right.
me too.
Can I show maybe a recommendation of 2 very quick tips?
Yeah,
We
love
can
that.
practice a little bit before the workshop. There's
Yeah.
2 different ways, or there's lots of different ways, but one of them is just to put all your fingers together
Yeah,
and just press yes and kind of feel how strong that is. Yeah.
yeah.
And then say no and feel how it straight away weakens.
Oh, okay. So strong and weak, yes and no.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I guess you
basically,
could test it like my name is Katie Jane Hill, and you can test it, could you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
so basically, just in short, because I don't want to hijack this, kinesiology is the art and science of muscle response testing. So what you're testing is the response of your muscle. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so basically, I sometimes say to my people, my name is Mashenka, and then it holds true. And my name is Peter Rabbit, and straight away it unlocks.
Yeah, I figured
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
And
like
so
that.
basically doing it that way. So,
Yeah.
but also remember how you frame questions, because the answer could be yes or no, or it can be strong or weak. And they can give the opposite results.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
answer
The
questions.
skill is in the
quite clearly.
question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I have parasites? Yes. Yeah. It
Yeah.
unlocks. Yeah. So there's a yes, strong, but also there's a weakness in my body around it, so it unlocks. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
That's one way, and another way is to link your thumbs like that.
Yeah.
And just check yes, check no, and once you know what a no is, you can ask questions.
Yeah.
So
Is
first check your yeses, check your nos,
Yeah.
and then ask questions. It's my
A
name.
little bit like the pendulum, isn't it? So Gina, one of my QLAs, was showing me the other day. I got a pendulum in the post for a gift, and I'm like, how do we use this thing? And she was, basically showing me that as well, like the circle and the, asking the questions. And cool. We'll look forward to that. So, any other questions on AO scanning and anything in between?
Pendulum.
Oh, pretty.
There is one from Mashenka.
Yeah.
The homeopathic recommendations, how does everyone use it? Do you imprint water or imprint the exact amount of beads? I don't have beads, so I don't use
No,
beads.
what I do with the homeopathic lists, I only run it with the symptoms. So I look for a symptom that we need, and the big list, and then I will scan to see which one is the best for me or the person. And I'll either run the whole list, I'll do simultaneous and imprint it into their body if they're there, or even if they're not. If they're there and they have that issue ongoing, I will then imprint the sugar pills. I just do the whole bottle. So I just pop it on my scanner, erase the frequencies, simultaneously press the button and imprint them all into there. The other way I use them is some of the homeopathics come up on because they're in my supplement list. Pulsatilla is one that comes up for me a lot. And interesting, that was the one that I was given when I was very much younger with hormonal balancing problems. And if it comes up on my scanner, I just imprint my water and I just drink it.
So do you put a glass of water on the iPad, etc., or whatever,
Yeah.
and then just press imprint of all the different options and then drink that glass of water?
Yeah. You know, you can imprint it into anything really, water or your crystals or whatever. But water to me feels like you're just taking it straight away.
Yeah. I'm thinking more with my supplement recommendations. I just get a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I do. I just imprint them straight away, quickly, bang them on, drink them down, and off we go.
Yeah. And one of the clients came to me yesterday and they really needed arnica and they didn't have any arnica. Could I then take my bottle, clear it and imprint and then give them arnica?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Love the homeopathics.
Another question, Mammary Plus, one of the frequencies in the list. What is it for? Is it a group of frequencies? I assume it's for breast health. When do we use this frequency?
Well, that's a good question. I've never used Mammary Plus, but I would presume that it's exactly for breast health. Do you know, Joe?
No, I don't use it either.
No.
I only use things really that are very much suggested.
I
Yeah.
have used it.
Yeah, you know that one, Marielle? Off you go, honey. Oh, and
Yes,
Gina does too.
So it is for breast, definitely. And I actually earlier on this year developed a lump in my breast. And in answer to your other question as well, Mashenka, when that happened, I created I used the homeopathics for breast related stuff. And I imprinted my homeopathic pilules with the homeopathic remedies, and then I used the Mammary Plus and printed my water with that. So I know they say less is more, but in this circumstance, I just threw the kitchen sink at it, and I thought the more supportive frequencies in my body, the better. And I literally watched that lump disappear. So
Wow.
Brilliant, great.
That's awesome. Gina, do you want to go?
Yeah, I had the same issue about 6 weeks ago. I went through the whole lump and then they sent me to the breast cancer clinic and I was just pumping the frequency. So because I'm in Gelshan, I had one scan and then back and forth. By the time I got to the clinic in Perth, which was probably maybe a month later, they said it had shrunk. So, and then it came up, it kept coming up for a while. So I just kept, if it came up, I just played the playlist and I just do it when it tells me. If it doesn't come up, I leave it alone. I just think better leave it alone than muck around with it. If it's in the playlist or if it comes up in my scan, that's when I use it. But yeah, it definitely helped.
Wow, love that.
Okay, so I'm going to jump in as Kai right now and just say this is an educational tool. This is not a medical device. So please make sure that you're seeking medical advice when you're dealing with things such as breast tissue and breast lumps.
Yeah, absolutely. And that this is why it's so great. Gina has gone and had a scan, checked it out, followed it up. I mean, she saw it on a scan, didn't you, Gina?
Yeah.
And so she didn't just say, oh, I'm just going to press Mammary Plus and off we go, we're all done and dusted. No, she followed up with a doctor. She went and had the scan. She did the right thing. And, that's what this is about. It's being able to see what potentially could be happening in our bodies and to seek further attention and testing, if we need to. And now she's been able to see that, keep an eye on it, monitor it, and then if there's a problem, she can go back. So, that's the beauty of this.
just a disclaimer for me. I did have the ultrasound and everything as well, so it was all confirmed for me too.
Oh, Marielle, I'm sure you would have done. I'm just saying it because it's being recorded, honey.
Definitely.
Okay, more questions, anybody? This is great. It's great that we can all help each other. Like I say, none of us know everything.
Well, I'm going to throw in a question because we started talking about Cephi groups at the beginning. And oh, hang on, my dog's being something at the door. Oh my goodness, go on, up you go. Kill a dog. So yeah, when we did Day of Discovery, Dave was there and he was telling us about how he can actually make an income just from Cephi groups alone, which is phenomenal. So my question would be, let's put together a list of ideas that we could use for Cephi groups. So I've already started, like you mentioned, you were doing a moon cycle one. there's a sleep one. We don't have to obviously come up with playlists, but I'm just thinking if we've got a few dot points that we can all go away and work on, and then maybe we could all come together at a future date with playlists for those groups. So, you know, why reinvent the wheel? If there's 300 of us as practitioners, why do we all need to create 50 million playlists? Let's create
what a great
and
idea.
share them.
Yeah.
So I've got moon cycle and sleep. We could have a weight loss one.
Wait, parasites?
Yeah.
Janice is doing a couple
Throw
of
them at me and I'll write them down.
Janice, I know, and Ali are doing 2 at the moment.
Yeah.
Is money,
Abundance.
Janice?
Yeah, we're doing wealth and abundance basically together, and we're also doing sleep because we're starting that off today for 21 days. So we've got a few playlists for those. So we're happy to put them, you know, in the chat or whichever. So we just thought we'd start with that. But other ideas we've got is a detox one.
Yeah.
Also detox maybe / stress, especially coming into the new year. People with, you know, like to start off the year, don't they, with, you know, what they're going to plan. So we
helping
just
those
thought that
adrenals and getting
Adrenal fatigue would be a really good one. How many people have got adrenal fatigue? Do you know, even coming into this Christmas, one of our my QLAs was talking about how, you know, how the Christmas period just sends people completely off balance. There's all stress about money, stress about what we're cooking, stress about family members that aren't with us, you know. That one is, I just think, like a balanced stress one, with, you know, during this Christmas period is such a rock idea, you know.
Yeah.
Really great idea.
You got family members turning up that you've not seen for 12 months and
then they're driving you mad.
Yeah, so there's a few different ones, you know what I mean? As you said, like, you know, whether you do the weight loss. I'm not, you know, like Becky Coots talked about the Vegas one. I haven't got my head around that one yet, so I thought we'll leave that one until I can understand and learn a bit more. But yeah, I think there's, you know, lots of different ones that we can choose.
You just stay within your scope of ability, really. You don't have to bite off more than you can chew. There's plenty of lists that we can come up with within everybody's abilities.
And that's it, Joe. We can have like a whole a file.
I've got 8 so far.
Yeah, we can have a file then for this is what you would use if you were doing a sleep Cephii group. You know, because originally we were thinking that we just ran one list all the fortnight.
Yeah, I thought that.
We went, oh my gosh.
Then when he was telling us they've got like five different lists for each Cephii.
Yeah, and they just run them.
Yeah. And they're giving us
Yeah.
They run them separately. So one day, one the next day, one the next day. And I'm not sure if they give them a break over the weekend.
Yeah, they said they did. Yeah. And the other thing I love as well with playlists is, you know, when you sort of take somebody else's list, that they've got the homeopathics on there. So you're not scrambling around looking for the homeopathics that belongs to the Cephii. I mean, what I do with my homeopathic playlists is I go into the homeopathic, you know, like if they've got, you know, like ADHD, I will find the top 2 in that list, and then I write them down, and then I go in and I put that in my playlist. But yeah, for playlists that are already created for us, we go hallelujah. You know, even our emotions.
Chakras one too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a great idea, Joe.
And then what we're going to do is we're going to start off with three lists, but also creating a chat. So what David said is that you need to get feedback, because sometimes one of those lists might, you know, whether it might give them headaches, upset stomach, whatever it is, so that they can feed back. So sometimes then you get, you know, you might need to change that for that person and back off a little bit.
So have you got a chat, Janice, with your team group, or is it just a Facebook group?
We're going to do the chat today, so pop everyone in. So then also ongoing. You know, we can get the feedback from people, but also give them affirmations. Ali's going to send through meditation as well, and then people can choose that if they want to, and if they don't, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't got a chat with the one that I'm in yet, but we seem to be very active in the little group, saying how we felt the next morning and, did you sleep well? And people are coming on and really getting, really getting some shifts already of feeling good. Yes, Gina?
Yeah, I'm finding that when did we start? About 4 or 5 days ago, and cut some of the playlists, like, whoa, they were straight away, and others I didn't feel it. So it's good, I think, to have that variety, because if it had just been the one list, and it might have been the one that worked well for me but not for you. So
That's
I
the
think
thing, right?
that's the trick, is
Yeah, that's the trick. Yeah.
whereas before, when we did the weight loss one in March, we only had one, and some people it worked for some people, they lost weight, and other people nothing really changed. So I think
And look,
that
we all know, don't we, that our bodies will only accept the frequencies that they are needing. And so things like weight loss, somebody, there's a very variance, right? It could be a metabolism thing for someone. It could be, something hormonal for someone else. So you really, when we can mix and match these
emotions.
a bit more, and emotions, then you're going to have some more flexibility on how many people that you're going to help. And even within that list, there might be just one frequency that's playing. It might be just ultimate emotions in the list that's actually helping that person absorb that frequency, and the rest the body just goes, nah, I don't actually want that, I don't need it. So yeah, it's that's why I guess sometimes we go less is more, so we can really pinpoint the frequencies. But yeah, the Cephi groups are interesting, and it's great to be able to introduce people to frequency. They don't want to dive deep into this. They're sort of dipping their toe in a bit, and then they go, wow, like it's a big concept, right? And for me, I'll be honest, I've come from the medical model into, natural holistic health from products. And now I've gone into this, and then this to me is like next level. Like I'm sitting there, and Gina knows because we're in the group together, and I did it because I really wanted to step my belief up to the next level, because I'm not even in their scanner, and I'm like, so how does it find me? I'm asking those questions. Like I'm a Katie Jane Hill, and I'm one of the hundreds in WA. So how is that working? That you haven't got me in there, and you've got a piece of paper with my name on, but I'm in the group, and I'm a name in the group, and it's all in a lot of intention, and it's working for me. So I'm going, whoa, like this is great to experience it. And that's what other people will come in not knowing anything about this. It's a great way for people, and also to build the relationship. So I can see in our group, actually somebody's already joined, haven't they, Gina? A lady's just come straight in and gone, this is amazing. And she's been looking at this for a year or more. I remember having a call with her with the girls over a year ago, and she just went, I'm in. What do I do? And she's come in, got the pack, and off we go. So it is a great way to build those relationships, feel the people that you're going to be working with as well, and then get the feelings of the frequencies that are helping you.
I've got a question, Katie.
Yes.
Sorry, I was a little bit late. I've been awake since 6 o'clock, and then I all of a sudden realised.
That's okay. That's okay.
Anyway, it was something I was going to ask, and Joe just wrote a note about it. Should we kind of do a price point for, have a kind of a price point that's a bit more equal across the board for all of us? I know there's not this, one person,
It's probably that's a really good thought, actually, because I know we've got doing them, and then the Cat and Kellys are doing them, and the price point is slightly different, and so it sort of did go through my mind exactly what you just said, is maybe we should try and blanket it so we're all sort of running a similar price. But at the end of the day, it's our own businesses, right? We have a choice to do what we're doing, and some people, Amanda, will just do a playlist, send it off, and they're not doing all the other stuff, right? They're not adding in the value. They're not spending time putting things in playlists. They just want to come in, do it, move on. And then, should they be charging less for that? Do you know what I mean? I think that we've just got to, my thought is people have just got to do basically what they feel that they are offering people, be comfortable with that, and whoever comes on decides whether that's going to be for
And
them.
maybe some of our clients might be a little bit less financial than others. I'm not saying I want to charge more for people that are wealthier.
Well, I think
but
we all live in different
there might-
socioeconomic
there might
areas. So
people that are really ill.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
And are not earning a lot of money because they've got a really bad, for
is
me.
that your cat, KJ?
I know. It's morning time and Lucy's not up, and she's normally feeding the cat, and the cat's like, I have to go. I'll
No
just go
word
and
of a
feed the
lie. I
cat."
just went out to my husband and said, "What's wrong with our cat?"
I have a cat. Wasn't me.
Was a
He
man.
saw me stand up and walk out. I'm like, "Will someone do something with the cat?" And they're like, "The cat's not here." Well, there's a very distressed cat somewhere.
Oh my gosh.
So I
And
think
he's got about 4 cats.
Oh, bless her. I think actually going back to that as well, Amanda, and what KJ said, I think some people may actually offer people who are joining their Cephi groups an inner voice scan first. So, if they're people that haven't had any form of frequencies, and to get them in your device and get them the device so it knows them, we really should be running an inner voice scan first as well, and introducing them to that. So I would probably incorporate that in my fees for a Cephi group, and then maybe a thank you at the end. You run a chakras and meridians for them or something to see how balanced they are. So I think everybody will run their groups differently. I just
It's
think
interesting.
it's a really good idea to have a list of groups so that we're not all sat there going, well, what group can I run? So
it's interesting because I'm like Katie Jane. I've come from a science background, and a lot of my friends are used to me doing sciencey stuff. I did what did I do? Human sciences at UWA, like it's now called exercise physiology anyway. It was a Bachelor of Science in Human Sciences years ago, but they're used to me, and I've just realised most of my people that are looking at my stuff are wanting the science. So I've got an inner voice to a lot of my the people that have been interested in what I've got. Just find that really weird, and I find a lot of them find the moods confronting. Like going the anger and the grief, and they just go, no, I've got none of that. Maybe they haven't thought very quickly. And I had a girlfriend the other day, and I just did when I saw her, she saw the food sensitivities and the molds and the funguses, and then she saw, I was just showing her my scans. She wanted to be doing more that sort of stuff than even though they should do inner voice, for me and some of my people with science backgrounds don't want to look at that.
So I will come from a different aspect to you. I'm not sciencey. I'm mind, body, and spirit. And unless they get that emotional balance under control, they are emotionally hanging on to that crap.
I understand.
I would be pushing inner voice. You don't have to send them the report. Just send them their balancing harmonics. Don't let them read the report if they don't want to. But that is one of the most important scans that we have in the AO scan. I would never scan anyone until they've done inner voice.
Oh, okay. You know what I find as well?
I'll do it that way. That's a good idea.
You know what I find as well, Amanda, is I've had a little bit of that along the way, and people go, well, sadness, I'm not sad. I'm not sad. Why is it saying I'm sad?
They don't want to cry, and they don't want to confront their emotions.
They come back and they say, do you know what? I've had to think about that. And I have got a bit of sadness. And that they then open up to, it's like shoving the emotion under the carpet, right?
Yeah.
And when I'm ever presenting someone with an emotion, I actually, when I'm reading it with them, I just go gently. I say, it might not be all of these things. You might be a little bit sad, and there might be something today that's made you sad, but there might be something that you're hanging on to. Is there anything around that you'd like to talk to me about? And honestly, like that language, is there anything you would like to chat with me about that might help? And suddenly you've got this woof, they're all coming out, and this happened to me when I was young, and off we go down the trail. And I actually think I don't even need to go into the vitals and the comprehensive today, because I've actually helped that person in the moment see, bring it up to the surface, gently discuss it, and then, go from there. And I don't go right into the whole thing at the beginning. Sometimes it just comes straight out, but Go and listen to your tunes. Let's have a chat in a day and see how do you feel around listening to the frequencies and the tunes, and we can then rescan you and see if it shows up again. And, you know, keep being mindful about what you can do in your day to make yourself feel better. You know, what is it? And I have that discussion. I scanned a 12-year-old child the other day. Oh, no, 9, sorry. And everything that came up on her scan, on her emotions, was love. She was lacking love. She was lacking self-esteem. She was lacking connection to, you know, to unconditional love. And her mom's sitting there almost crying because the child's gone through a separation with the, you know, with the parents, and they're not coping, and she's not seeing dad, and she's having these physical symptoms of screaming out in pain. And she's had all the tests under the sun. Everything is completely normal within her gut. And then when we looked at the physical reasons, you know, in the graph where you can see where your pain's sitting in your emotions, it was all around the digestive system, and there was some in her shoulders. And I said, do you ever get sore shoulders? She said, yeah, I do. And so, you know, how magical. And this little girl, I gave her a little bottle of sugar pills, and I pressed the first one, you know, the abundance one. And what do you think came up? Love, compassion, and confidence. And my mom's like, where have you been? I've been seeing psychologists, psychiatrists, you know, and look, in that moment, all I did is I gave her a little bottle of sugar pills. I put I put the self-love in there, and I said, what else would you like at school, do you think? Because you can take this to school in your bag and you take a couple of these. She goes, I think I'd like focus. And I said, okay. So we found focus, we put that in there. And then I said, there's your sugar pills. And she said, Katie Jane, they're not sugar pills. And I said, oh, what do you want to call them? She said, they're my special frequency pills, and they're magic. And how do I become a quantum angel? I mean, really, you know, like the ability to, I didn't go any further with that child than the emotional scan, because that's all, you know, that pains that she's got going in her body is all because of emotions. And also we're distracting, right? So we're trying to put the positiveness into these people as well.
And
empowering beyond, you know. And I came
she's
away
empowered now. When she's at school and she's feeling crappy, she's got her little magic bottle of frequencies, and she's empowered now.
And you know,
the brain is an amazing tool.
She called me yesterday and she said, I can't believe the difference. She's lost her anger and there's been no pain at all today. Yeah. And I said, great. And what I want to do with her is next weekend, I've got a spare mobile. I'm going to give her a 3-day pass.
Yeah.
I said to her when I left, do you know, I can scan your cat? Oh my gosh. The smile on this little girl's face, she said, I'm going to teach you how to scan your cat. I'm going to give you this phone to look after for 3 days. You can scan yourself every day and listen to your tunes, because it's going to change. And you can scan your cat, and you can scan your mom, and you can scan your sisters. And she said, I really want to be a quantum angel now. I'm in training. And I walked away, and look, when we were at Day of Discovery, Truth Joy, they say, you know, find your audience. What is it that you really love? You know, and like you're saying, Amanda, you know, I'm the science geek, right? If you're the science geek, there's science all over this. There's physics, quantum physics, all over this. Go and find your people. Don't get into the emotions if they don't want to. Go for that. But I walked away that day, and I've been a children's cancer nurse for 30 years. Children have been my life since I was little. All I wanted to do was be around children, have children, you know, name it. And I'm like, why have I not been scanning children? Like, I was in my element, sitting down with that little kid, being able to speak to her on her level, because that's what I've been doing all these years. I'm like, I could now. And this woman, mom was going, I think, a few friends of mine, I think I'd love for you to get a scan. And then you're introducing not only to the child, but then, you know, the parent needs it, right? And the parent and the family need it for the dynamic that's going on in their house. You know, and I even said, I can scan your room. I can take a photograph of your room and put sleep in it. Does that sound good? You know, we've got endless possibility with this. Endless possibility.
And children are very susceptible to frequencies.
Yeah.
They're not shut off like adults.
No, they're so open. It was so, I can't even tell you. You can probably feel it from me. It was just like my heart was so full when I walked away. because I could see the difference that we can do here, and how much stress have these little kids got right now. Like, whereas the world is full of the stress from these young kids at school to the teenagers at school with the exams and all the pressure from social media. We've got the adults now stressed, because of what's been going on. There's still some awful things going on in the world with health and politics and everything. And, I was in the vets recently, and there's, there's signs everywhere in the vets about stress in animals. And I'm like, the whole world is stressed, and we have a device in our hand that we can balance ourselves out every day, make sure that we're staying on our flying disc with Abraham. There's my woo-woo. And, keeping ourselves optimized every day. And that's why at the beginning of this call, I said, please, everybody, please get up in the morning and scan yourself. Even if it's just a quick scan on the way out the door.
I was doing it when I saw your thing. I've got another question, and Sue.
Yeah, what time is it? I could go on for hours. What time have we got, Joe?
Well, we've got like 5 minutes left.
5 minutes, yeah.
When you scanned those sugar pills, Katie Jane, you did the whole bottle.
Yeah.
And Sue came up with a question like how when we do the Cephi dots, and then I've done that before, and then you put them in the little foil packet and make sure that they don't lose their frequency. So if you do a whole bottle, there's a couple of questions I've got happening here. So if you do sugar pills, can you do a whole bottle and imprint them? And then how long is that going to last when you're opening the lids and shutting?
But you've got,
do we know?
With the sugar pills, there's a little cardboard box that comes with them. Every one of them has a little cardboard box, and it's got the metal in it. So it affects the frequency. So what I do is what we did with this little girl is she wrote it in a little book. She wrote down what was in it, but you can write on the box what frequencies you put in there.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as you keep them in there, Amanda, they will stay like any homeopathic. They won't run out. But bearing in mind, you can then, like I said to her, next time we come, you might want something else, so I can put it on my scanner. I can erase all the frequencies out and put a new one in. And she's like, this really is magic, isn't it? And I said, yeah, we can do anything we want, And she's scanning down, looking at all and checking them out. And, she was more inquisitive than any adult that I've ever had with it, right? But yeah, that's the beauty of the homeopathics. And they say that with the dosing, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's generally you have to sort of load up a bit at the beginning. So you have like your five little sugar pills, and then you might have an hour later, you might have another 5, and then you calm down. So I just said to her, 3 now for a little kid, 3 with when you go to bed, 3 when you get up, and then you can then go down to 1 or 2 and see how you feel. You can't overdose on them, right? So it's it comes in a box. You can buy them. I think you've ordered some actually, Amanda, haven't you? The last order. And I haven't used them enough. And I literally, when I don't know, it must have just come into my space. As I walked out the door with this kid, I just grabbed a bottle, and I thought, well, why did I get that? I'm like, of course, little kid, sugar pills, great thing to use. And I know that the naturopaths in our business use them a lot. They use them a lot. And one of ours down south, she's right into the Bach flowers. Now, just before we go, I'll just tell you what she does with the Bach flowers. And now we've got the Australian bush flowers. And I don't know if anybody's noticed, but oh my gosh, they're stronger than the Bach flowers. And I think Lauren said, didn't he? He's found it when they were measuring the frequencies. But what Leah does down in her clinic, and I know this because one of my other QLAs actually went to see her as a naturopath. And what she does is she scans the emotion. So when you can press the button and the emotion comes up, that what you need for the day. What she actually does is she got this I call him a phoenix. So we have angels and phoenixes in the quantum angels, and he's a phoenix, so I call him my phoenix. And you press it, and so you have to write down the flower that came up, and then she goes back out and press it again, and so she keeps pressing the emotion until you get the same flower again. Now, of course, we've got a bigger list now, so it might take longer to find the emotion, but once you get the emotion twice that comes up, then that's the emotion for you. And I think he had 3 that came up twice. soon as you get 3, they're the 3 emotions, and she imprints them into the sugar pills or a tincture, and he goes off, and that's, you know, part of the service. And I started to do that with the Bach flowers. And so I you know, go in scan, not every day, but probably once a week. And I add it to my playlist, or I imprint my water with it, or I, you know, do that. So just a little hack. Anyway, one more question. I think we can squeeze one more in. It's been lovely having you all here. All good?
Yep.
Good. So thank you for coming on. I have really enjoyed getting up at 7 o'clock. No, I do get up earlier now because of what I talked about in the beginning of not having, you know, much of a routine or not getting up too late. So I'm really enjoying getting up early. So this has been super great. It's always, I always believe that whoever comes on is meant to be here. And, you know, I appreciate all of you for coming on. Great questions. Definitely learned some stuff myself. And Joe, I just love you. I love that you put your hand up and say, Katie Jane, I'm not doing my markets. Can I come on? And there's nothing better than getting on with a good northerner like Joe. You know, we know each other's hearts, and, you know, it's great that we can have relationships with, you know, other people in the teams over there. Feel connected.
I think it's just nice to come on and bounce off each other as well.
Oh, it is.
There's nothing worse than coming on and doing it on your own and
nomads. Yeah.
We know each other and we can bounce. But originally I was doing the markets this morning, and then I've had such a hectic time since coming back from the conference, and I was like, oh man, really the markets. So yes, I messaged KJ and went, hey, do you want a partner in crime?
Yeah, so thank you so much. Well, have a beautiful day. Thank you. See you, Mariella. Bye, Amanda.
Thanks
Bye
for joining us, everyone. Take your affirmations forward into the week too.
Perfect. See ya.
Thanks, Katie.
Bye, ladies.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
See you tomorrow.